Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Turk Sports Show. My name is Rocco Foggio, and I'm one of the hosts of the show, and I've been dubbed the #1 enemy of the fanboy. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Justin. Get that bum out of here, Turk. And today we have Jay, the producer. For any of our new listeners, we're a couple former athletes turned coaches that will bring you the week's top national and local sports stories, and we're focusing heavily on the NFL, college, and high school football seasons, discussing all the topics using our unique sports perspective and experiences that we have had as players and now as coaches. But as we always get the show started off, I like to do something that we call Rock's Rant. You know, I figured we'd lay off the serious stuff for the last couple weeks, but today I got to bring it back up. We got the racism in America, all right? And we're not talking about taking a knee for the flag, any of that type stuff. And it's something that you may not think about being racist, but it's the things that are ingrained in is what's making things a problem, and we'll bring it back to why Kaepernick and some guys take a stand. Here's a simple situation. We talked last week on the show that the 3 UCLA players got arrested in China for shoplifting, and they ended up finding out that not only did they do it, but they did it at 3 separate stores next to the high-end mall that was by their hotel. And so they were arrested, they were released, they were held for a couple days after, then they were released and brought back to the United States. So LeAngelo Ball, Jalen Hill, and Cody Riley, once they got back stateside, they were suspended indefinitely. That's not the problem. So here's what it is. A lot of people on social media, a lot of people in the news, a lot of sportscasters, a lot of just people with their opinion have said these guys should be, they're thugs, they're hooligans, they should be kicked off the team, they should lose their scholarship, they should all that. Now listen, what they did was wrong. What they need to do is they need to get punished. I'm thinking 15 games, half a season, or if maybe they want the whole season. I don't know, I think that's a little excessive, but here's what it is. These are 18 and 19-year-old young men, all right? They made a mistake, they did something. Now you may say, hey, you should know better. Some guys don't, all right? It's how they grow up and what they do. Let's say these guys got in trouble. You want to take their scholarship away, opportunity for them to get an education because of a mistake they made. Now, do I say 15 games, maybe the whole season, you run them every morning at 6 o'clock, you take away their privileges, right? That's how you punish them. You set a new standard. So, but now, why I'm saying that's racist in America is because when white kids do the same exact thing, it's kids will be kids. I was like that, everyone was like that. When it's black kids or minority kids, they're thugs, they're hooligans, they should be punished to the full extent of the law or whatever's going on, whatever situation at a university, school, or whatever. So, and those are the little things in society that what we're talking about that are racist, that people of color can't get ahead. So sit back and just now that I've told you that, sit back and listen to everything you hear. I'm not saying they shouldn't be punished. I'm not saying the punishment shouldn't be severe enough, but not for them to lose their scholarship, to get kicked out of school. So that's my rant. I was really upset hearing that all day today. So think about that. Young kids stole some stuff. Because what happens, they're here at CVS and they stole a bunch of stuff. It wouldn't be an uproar, but would you want to kick them out? But because it had more national attention, it was 3 black players, this is what happened. So that's my rant. And as always, that rant today was brought to you by Beirut Palace. Hey sports fans, where can you find exotic and friendly surroundings, fine dining, and the taste of the Middle East and American cuisine? The Beirut Palace and its 4 locations serves food just like a homemade meal in your own home. Hummus, salads of your choice, kebabs, and their famous shawarma sandwiches that are great and fit into any budget. So make your dining out plans and go to one of the 4 Beirut Palace locations. And when in Royal Oak, stop by the Beirut Palace at 205 South Main Street, ask for Mo, and tell them you heard about the restaurant on the Turk Sports Show and get 10% off your meal. For more information, call them at 248-399-4600 or go to their website at www.beirutpalace.com. Do it today. What's up? What's happening?
Hello, Mr. Foggio.
Oh, why so somber and serious? You didn't like my rant?
No, I did like your rant, man. I always, being a sports show, talking politics stuff. Everybody stick to sports, but the funny thing is that politics and sports kind of go hand in hand. And to add on to what Rocco said, there's been scientific studies that show that 11 to 14-year-old minority is usually viewed as an older person than an 11 to 14-year-old Caucasian. So people just subconsciously view us older, which meaning that a lot of times you should know better. When at the same time another person may get a second chance, and but that stuff I'm not even surprised anymore. It doesn't. That's par for the course. That's kind of what you sign up for. When you get that, I think those guys should get punished. But losing your scholarship and all that stuff, come on, man.
All right, real quick, I want to talk to Jay. Jay, what's up? We haven't seen you in a while. I thought you quit, but you are here, but you can't quit because you're an owner. What's up? What's going on?
There's no quitting me. I'm doing great, man. Just doing
Jay is out here.
What?
Playing fantasy football. In places.
Well, Jay, guess what?
Yes.
We got some. Not for me. I mean, it's exciting, but somebody in the room's got some exciting news. So I figured he's about to burst at the seams. So let's go ahead and get that news out, bro.
Yeah. So this week, I got. This is Turk of the Turk Sports Show. In case people were wondering. So this weekend, I got presented with an amazing opportunity to go to Chicago with the Detroit Lions on the team plane, ride the team buses, stay in the team hotel, eat the team dinner the night before, go to the field with the team, be on the field for the warm-ups, and then watch the game from up in the suite. So I am as probably excited as I think I've ever been as far as attending a sporting event. So I'm going to be there, and I've already put the hashtags out. We're going to be hashtagging Rock and Turk Sports starting tomorrow Saturday afternoon, and Lions Turk Chicago. So if you follow those hashtags, you'll follow the behind-the-scenes look of a ordinary person being a fanboy and a social media specialist this weekend. So hopefully we bring back a W, because that's the only reason that I'm going, for the W.
Well, hopefully a couple things. One, make sure you take some videos and stuff so we can post them up on the Instagram and the Facebook page. And also,
I mean, wherever they said, it's not like they say no cameras, and I'm like, oh, camera, no.
No, you gotta do like be like Antonio Brown, bro. Just be acting like you're doing something. Put it on your shoulder.
No, I'm not gonna be that guy.
Also,
so I think it'll be opportunity. So whenever an opportunity presents itself, definitely gonna do some media stuff.
Here's one thing though.
What's the thing, man?
See, you just explained what we did for like 4 to 5 years in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So what I don't want you to do is get too hyped and then get in the locker room and say, where my pads at, bro? You don't be in the same regimen.
I will say, seeing what the breakdown is crazy, because you play college ball and you like, man, they do things differently in the pro. Honestly, you look at the itinerary, it's very similar to what you do in college at a Division I level. As far as when you travel day before a game, the meal together, that type of stuff, the early morning wake up, and then pregame, all that stuff. It's a lot of the same stuff. What is going to be a little different is that how these guys prepare for game. I'm sure is a little more intense than what we do, even though we think we're as intense as possible. I obviously not going to be in somebody's face when they Sunday morning like, you ready? You ready? I'm ready. No, but I'm looking forward to it. So awesome experience. Take as many pictures as possible. Hopefully get a W. Like I said, I want to see a Lions W in Chicago. Never do a game in Soldier Field, 32 degrees. I'm gonna be out there. You might see me with my shirt off second half. No, probably not. But yeah, let's go.
Well, hopefully you bring the same look, because you went to the Cleveland game and I was texting you and I was like, you was giving me all that noise. I was like, see, look, it was 10-0, and then all of a sudden they just turned around, pulled away.
And this trip that Turk of the Rock and Turk Sports Show is going to is brought to you in part by Blaze Contracting.
The Turk Sports Show is brought to you in part by Blaze Contracting Incorporated. Blaze is a heavy civil site contractor that self-performs mass and surgical excavation, aggregate installations, and balance of grading,
We're going to go right into the music for the next.
For the classic battle.
Yeah.
Blaze has successfully completed high-profile projects. Is a preferred
Give me water on the floor. Or just use the cat.
Blaze has several major projects going on in Metro Detroit, including the Little Caesars headquarters building, the Detroit Rush Park development, the Flexing Gate water supply line, and the new Little Caesars Red Bull terminal. Hey, sports fans, if you're out there listening and you're involved in the development construction process of upgrading or improving the exterior product or infrastructure, you need to give Blaze a call. They can provide valuable assistance from the beginning stage
there it is. It's this week in sports. We do this at the same time every week. It's Thursday. Didn't rain this month today, but it is a little cold outside. But we're almost a month. We're a month into the NBA basketball season, and surprisingly, these Detroit Pistons are number 2 in the East. Now they had a tough loss last night. We know, to the Milwaukee Bucks, team that is 5-0 since the Eric Bledsoe deal. So that's not a slouch. That's a very good team. Obviously, the Greek Freak is one of the best players in the league. Lost 99-95, but so far this season, the Pistons at 10-4 have been one of the surprise teams in the NBA. They are one of 2 teams that are ranked both in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Them and the Golden State Warriors. So, are you surprised? Do you think this team can sustain what they're doing, or is this just early success that's going to set us up for future failure?
Your Detroit Pistons. I think that I would say one. I'm gonna start. I'm a little upset with people in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Because
tell us how you feel.
You're 10. Okay. So ever since the last run of stars we had, when we knew, okay, it's over, we're done. Here it comes. This is what you've been wanting, right? You got I think Stan Van Gundy's a good coach. I don't think he's the greatest coach. I think he's a good coach. I think he's what you need for the young players you have, and he's got a plan, and he's stuck with it. You made some good moves getting Tobias Harris. You moved some people in, moved some people out. You are now 10-4. You have the second best record in the Eastern Conference behind Boston. You one of the top records in the league. You're on pace to have between 45 to 50 win season, and all I keep hearing is people being upset. And I don't understand. Like you said last night, one of the top up-and-coming teams, and that was a gritty, hard-fought game. Like, Milwaukee had to fight to win that game. And this is kind of Detroit basketball, right? There's Tobias Harris has become a superstar. Drummond, if he wakes up, he can be. And everybody else is playing. Ivory Bradley's playing well. I'm excited. I watch it. I hate, my man Turk over here, they help. You guys help. You helped build the Little Caesars Arena, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I keep hearing all these great things about it, and every time I watch a game, it's empty. It's like you're 10-4. You're the second best team in the East. Why are people not at the game? I'm talking about weekend games. I understand if it's a weekday, whatever, but a weekday, I don't understand. I'm watching the games. I'm excited. It kind of looks like the Chauncey Billups team where there's not a big superstar, but guys are grinding every night. I'm excited. I'm happy we're winning. I don't know what's going on.
So let me. This topic may take off somewhere where it may not have went. It wanted to, but and this is where we as Detroit fans need to take ownership of our team, because this is 2 things that I think have happened in Detroit. Number one, that we have got so used to losing that we don't want to embrace winning for the Pistons, and the 2004, 2006. That the glory years are so far gone that we don't know what that looks like, that recipe looks like. And for me, winning is winning. All right, you can say what you want, how you get there. Winning is winning. And I think, and honestly, and this goes to probably the top radio station in the market, 97.1 The Ticket, and specifically Mike Valeni, because I listened to a show, because he's the biggest guy in the market. He tells the people of the city that you need to tank. This winning is not sustainable. And he says you need to tank because you need to be more like Philly. Well, what does Philly want?
Right.
Like, and I love to get him to. He would never come on the show. He would never sit down and have that conversation with somebody. I love him to show me tangible evidence of where tanking won you championship. Because I'm looking over all the years where you specifically went out and were bad to get a good draft pick where that worked. Because what usually happens, and I bring the example of where the Pistons are right now. The Pistons are a team that are playing better than they played in the past. But if you look at the makeup of the team, they have the draft picks that should be winning. They should be a top team. Drummond is a number 9 pick. Stanley Johnson is a number 8 pick. Number 11, you got Kennard. They got Tobias Harris, who was a lottery pick. Reggie Jackson was a lottery pick. You look at the Golden State Warriors, the best team in the NBA before they got Kevin Durant. Steph Curry was the 7th pick overall. Klay Thompson was the 11th pick overall. Draymond Green was a 2nd-round pick. These are the core of their team. They didn't do it by tanking. They just didn't make the playoffs, and they made the right pick when you were there. So it's not. I think this idea, and this is what a lot of people are afraid of. They're afraid of that they hear Mike Valeni and they hear him say, "Hey, that what you see is not real. It's not sustainable because you need a superstar to win." Well, you don't need to tank to get your superstar. All right, it's been proven. Superstars are littered throughout the first round of the NBA. And you need to just find your guy.
And like you said, everyone, Philly's winning. They're looking great, but don't be a prisoner. 2 games I've seen on TV, they play 2 of the worst teams in the NBA. So they look like
Philly had a top 3 pick last year. They were butt last year. When Ben Simmons was hurt, Embiid was he played half the time. I get it that these guys are good,
they got 2 guys.
But to think that because these guys are somehow good, that's the success route. The only way you win in the NBA is just dumb, and fans need to stop buying into the nonsense and just open your eyes and realize that winning is winning. Because if this was the NFL and your team was 10-3, you wouldn't care about draft picks then. Why is it different?
Exactly.
Why the Lions was 10-3? Would you care about how they got there? Would you tell them to tank? That'd be the craziest thing in the world. Absolutely not.
We got Markel. We got Norris Noel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Got hurt, but you got Okafor. Or Jaleel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot. You just had 2 guys that were hurt the last couple of years that are having a very good first 15 games of the season. And now you're saying, what about all the and then Fultz? We don't know what he's going to be because he might be on the bench for the whole year.
And he's been hurt, and he hasn't. When he was out there, he wasn't looking good. But he's supposed to be talented.
And and just what Turk said, who's the core of your team? Sarek is a guy that's really good that they didn't go. That they got.
Mm-hmm.
Covington is a steal that they got.
Covington used to be in the D League in Detroit
Right.
at one point. I mean, he's come a long way in his career. 27 years old now, great 3-point shooter. But he's a guy that grew up in the ranks. He wasn't that's a very good complementary piece. And if you build a team around good players and then you luck into a superstar, now you got a component a la Golden State.
Right.
They didn't suck and then get one guy and become great. They were very good before they became a great team. And I always said this when we watched the Golden State Warriors. What you saw was, and the Golden State Warriors of old before Kevin Durant were not much different than the Detroit Pistons. When you look at Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, these were guys who were exceptional at their craft, but they were not walking mismatches. They were not, freaks of nature. Kevin Durant's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
There's only so many of those in the league where a guy walks on the court and says, okay, what the hell we do with him? Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are not that. They were very good draft picks where they were drafted. If you draft better, if Stanley Johnson at number 8 was a player, and Drummond was a player at number 9, which he's actually playing better than he has in the past. But if these guys panned out, then what would this tanking be? It's not about tanking, it's about getting the draft picks right. And I'm sick of tired of hearing about this tanking.
And you're a competitive human being. I was talking to somebody today. I'm not going to get the top draft pick, but I'd rather fight, win, and then if I need to, build it through free agency and get draft a guy who I can find.
To tank? Do you know what the Philly went through for the last? How many years were they just?
Man lost a job. How
many years were they just completely unwatchable? What you're asking for is for the Pistons to become the Cleveland Browns of the NBA,
and you pay money to watch that,
and then turn it around into a winner. It doesn't work like that, right?
Valenti always kind of has a little bit of hatred.
He's a New York guy.
He's a narcissist, dude. When it comes, he does, but he's been saying tank for like 8 years. Like, you got to tank. I guarantee if Valenti was on when they got Ben Wallace, he would have been telling you to tank. Before, when you traded away Grant Hill and you got Ben Wallace, I 100% know that the Valenti that we have now would have still said, you need to tank. And you would have never got that NBA championship listening to him. Tanking thing's a joke. It is never proven to work. Fans in Detroit, 248-721-8570. Stop listening to a guy who is not from here, who does not have the same investment you have in your team, and go out and embrace winning. Because when a team is winning, like the Lions are winning now, people talk about history and all that crap. I will have seen, I'm going to Chicago, I'm flying to Tampa, because the Lions have a chance to win. You don't know when they're going to, winning is winning. Right. I want to enjoy winning. I don't want to just pacify losers, say it's going to get better one day. When we win, let's win, right? Same thing with the Pistons.
And so what I say here, to answer your original question is yes, I think this is sustainable. I think they're going to win 45, 50 games, barring injury. I think they'll win. If they get a 4 or 5 seed, they could win the first round. I don't see them moving past the second round. But, hey, that's a good year that you can build on.
But the thing is, hey, you do that, you get some guys who are young, some growth. You got some guys like Kennard, Henry Ellison, who still have a chance to be a good player. Stanley, he might be on his last leg. Drummond's look better. At year 4 or 5, Drummond is tangibly better than he has been in the past. What he's showing right now, he's starting to get it together. These are young guys, and all I'm saying is, you look at the LA Lakers and they draft a Lonzo Ball who looks like a bad pick, right?
Trash.
But in the end of the round, they get Kyle Kuzma who looks like a star. The guy goes. He's the 27th pick.
Go.
Are you telling me if we get a Kuzma instead of Kennard that you're saying tank? Because now you got a guy that's potentially a superstar. Kuzma looks like a star. Yeah. He looks every bit the star of all these other young players that came out.
He was moving at a different pace than everybody else.
Yes, he looks
on his team.
So, like I said, I'd rather find that guy at 27 on a playoff team than be a team that's top 5, which is
Potential.
horrible, and have to find one guy to build around. Because now my fix is quicker. So moral of the story: hey, Detroit, let's go out. The LCA is a beautiful arena. There's multiple places to eat around there. You can go watch a game. You can watch a Pistons game. You can watch a Lions game outside at the sports bars. Go out there, embrace your team, because you don't know when they're going to be winning again. So enjoy it. Don't feel guilty about supporting a team that somebody else thinks not good enough, because they've always said teams in Detroit are not good enough. We've known that for the last 100 years. They've always told us we're not good enough, yet we got a lot more championships than most of these clowns talk about. So let's not listen to a bunch of guys who don't know what the hell they're talking about just because they're on the show.
Listen to the homegrown boys.
Exactly.
Right here.
Listen to the homegrown boys.
What else we got? Now that you got fired up in
Gotta
the
be
beginning,
fired
so
up,
it's going to be a
man.
good
It's
show
just,
the rest of the way.
it's just though, you got to tank to. It's empty rhetoric, and I really think that a lot of, if you listen to the fans around, people don't think for themselves, and they listen to this, and they think that's the way. So now they're like, this team's not gonna win. They got to tank. Well, when the tanking work?
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, you know what that looks like.
Because y'all be the first ones, but I ain't going to see these bums
Yeah,
play.
same thing.
48.
Red Wings need to tank. Oh, we don't need to draft better. We just need to tank. It ain't like, I mean, you get, so what if you draft a guy at 20-something rather than 5? You can get a good player at 20-something.
Hey,
I mean, Henry
Jared
Zetterberg was not a first-round pick.
What was Jared Davis? What pick? I forgot.
He was number 22.
I think he's a pretty good
I
player.
think he's a pretty good player, right?
A lot about coaching and development.
Exactly. Coaching and development. All right. Enough about that, man. So, shout out to those listening, and anybody that was opposed to it, including Valeni, can call on the show or tweet us or do whatever. He probably won't, but anytime you want to talk about it and show me historical evidence of how this is supposed to work, other than 15 games with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and I'm happy to hear it.
Bam.
Bam. Next, we got Duke, Michigan State. We got Kentucky, Kansas. I watched it. I thought it was a great basketball, great refreshing start to the college basketball season. 4 very good teams.
Yes.
So you watch those teams. Did this get you excited for college basketball? Are you there yet? Because I feel like it's so much sports that you got to build up to it. Or are you like, man, I'm ready for college basketball? Or is this just an appetizer and you're going to wait for the main course?
I think that for what it was on a Tuesday night when there's no football, I mean, I'm not to knock the MAC. There wasn't a good matchup this week, but the MAC football has been pretty good. The matchups on Tuesday have been good. But for that being a Tuesday, it wasn't really football on. I enjoyed it. My issue is that was the best of the best. Well, we're going to slide into college is a couple things. I don't know who anybody. The Kentucky team we watched last year, I would have been interested to see Monk and De'Aaron Fox this year. Got excited. Yeah. Or, Lonzo Ball. Now it's a whole new team. I don't know these guys, so I got to wait. I don't have time to watch and learn.
See what they're good at. It's
literally. I know Michigan State because I know who's in town and
yeah.
local, so I hear more about it. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch Michigan State. From what I saw, I know they lost a few good, whatever. That's a good basketball team. A lot of people are going to be
they're a very good basketball team.
If you can give me, if Michigan and if the Big Ten can be good, because that's most of the games we'll see on Tuesday, Super Tuesday, Big Ten games, I'll be excited. But right now, I was excited because it was a good game, but also that 80 to 81, 88 to 81, that's a lot of points for college. Most college games are in the 50s, right? So it was I don't want to say a wet dream, but it's like that's not how everything else is going to go.
Okay. I agree with you, and I think this is the gift and the curse of college basketball is that we don't get to know the players very well. That's the gift and the curse of it because we look for those guys to come back this year and be better. Instead, we get a new group of guys that we got to figure out what they're good at. So I was watching that game, and I'm like, man, I know these guys are highly rated, but I'm looking at them like, all right, he's got size, he's got some skill, but what is he good at? So you got to watch some games like the Duke. Duke had a couple guys who were very good guards. Their big fella, who's the stretch forward, he got hurt, but he's supposed to be really good. Grayson Allen, of all people, was the assassin. Last year's Kennard, this year's Grayson Allen. But he was the assassin, 37 points. He did it. But you watch Michigan State, you watch those teams, they got a bunch of young guys who look talented, and you want to see grow and see where they go for the season. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited because I saw good basketball in both games. Kansas and Kentucky, for what it's worth, for a bunch of new guys, it looked like a good basketball game.
What did he just say? Coaching. Just some of those 4 best coaches.
Yeah. So you're not going to see junk. You're going to see good basketball being played, and that's what you got. Excited about that. And I am looking forward to this college basketball season.
I am interested in one thing, and it's going to be my, I don't watch the Kardashians. I hate that. But I do like some reality TV that's a train wreck. I am going to be watching maybe every Louisville game I can because I want to see how that story is going to unfold with all the drama and everything that happened with that. I want to particularly see how they play because they were supposed to be a good team coming in this season. So I want to see.
They had a lot of guys back from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys back. So it's going to be interesting to see if the new coach can hold it together. Because I'm sure I'm sure a lot of stuff that went down he had to know about.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's going to be an interesting topic. Where Louisville goes from here. But yeah, that's enough about college basketball. So
you can holler at me in March. That's when you can get maybe a couple Michigan State games. You can come back to me in March. I'll be ready to talk about it.
all right. So this one right here is like this one here. You talk about reality TV. I want to see this. This one's got me eating popcorn on the couch. Like, what is this? What is going on? Jerry Jones versus the NFL and Roger Goodell. So today it came out that the NFL sent a letter to Jerry Jones' lawyer saying that, hey, that we think that you have shown conduct that is detrimental to our league. They're using rhetoric. The rhetoric that they're using is the rhetoric that someone uses when they're looking to remove someone from ownership in the league. Where's this battle going? Who's really got the edge in this? Because Jerry Jones, Jerry's world, Jerry is a big deal, but the
He's
NFL,
the shadow commissioner.
NFL is a monster engine. And for those that don't know, Jerry Jones has an all-out assault on Roger Goodell and him getting this renewed contract. Everything about what Goodell wants. And I know, honestly, I couldn't even compare what his demands versus Paul Tagliabue. I couldn't even tell you what was so outrageous that he wants now. I know he wants lifetime health care. I know he wants a private jet. But what did Paulie want? I don't know what Paulie wanted. So is he asking for stuff that's outlandish? Because it sounds like the rest of the league is 31 teams that aren't over here making a fit, but Jerry Jones is. So NFL versus Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones versus the NFL. We're going in the cage for this one. Who comes out alive because both of them will not make it?
See, my issue with this is, it's everyone wants. It's not about Zeke. I think he can give a rat's ass about that.
He doesn't have enough players who got suspended. And
there might be some moral thing like, hey, we don't even have the evidence. But here's the issue. Even if Jerry Jones is contesting this, right? This is not an offense in my mind. I don't know, and reading their bylaws, this is not detrimental to the league. I think is something that this issue the fans don't care about. So how is it detrimental to your league, right? It's not going to take dollars out of your pocket. I'm thinking there's something that obviously either the owners, while they went to this, obviously he's not going to lose his franchise, but the threat of it, of guys uniting against him, there's something they don't want to get out that may get out if he continues to pursue this action. And my thing, Jerry Jones is a businessman, to me, it's got to be something bottom line dollar. Either he's doing something that's blocking something from the Cowboys to get their money, or Jerry Jones was the shadow commissioner that helped set up this Vegas deal. Now, and he also owns a lot of people know he owns a lot of the concession companies that provide the concessions for NFL teams, and he is definitely involved in that in the Vegas team. Did he intercede? It is something personal because and it's gotten to the point how personal it is Arthur Blank brought him into that committee. Obviously, they were on good grounds. Now they are not. And he's thrown jabs at Arthur Blank. Now there are 7 owners that are siding with Jerry Jones. So now this is why it's not about Ezekiel. It's not about, because when it comes down to, like Turk said, this is a machine, and these players mean nothing to them. They're the field hands. Mm-hmm. They're just like my man said in the movie. Their field hands just get paid, right? They're not worried about that. This is about business. So I want to say Jerry Jones, but like you just said, if you got 26 owners
31.
I'm saying you got 26 owners that are on the commissioner's side. You got 6 that are, 5 more on Jerry's side. They're not going to win that battle no matter what.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, I guess your logic mind would have to say the NFL and Roger Goodell. But my mind says Jerry Jones is not a kook. He doesn't do anything without thinking. Everybody wants to say it's about Zeke and his stance towards the anthem. He cared less about that. It's something bigger than that. So I like to maybe on principle say that Jerry Jones should win or I would take him, because anybody that's fighting for their life or their backs against the wall. But like he said, it's a machine, and sometimes the machine wins just because it's bigger, stronger, more money, whatever. So I guess I'd have to say I'm not signed with Roger Goodell, but I want to pick a winner, so I'd pick him as the winner.
I'm actually in agreement with you. I think that if there's anything that you don't want to fight against, it's the big machine of the NFL. I'd rather go against the government than the NFL if I'm an owner. I mean, they're serious because it's a private entity and they can vote you out.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry Jones either has something that we don't know about, that he's got some golden card that he's pulling later, or he needs to, this needs to go away, because I don't think in the long run Jerry Jones is going to win this battle. I think in the long run, NFL is going to do what the NFL has to do to shut this thing up. And if it means Jerry Jones has to sell the Cowboys, guess what? People will still come watch the Cowboys. It's a lot of people in Dallas that don't like Jerry Jones anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think that who owns the Cowboys is going to stop fans from filling seats. If Jerry Jones is not in the NFL, what exactly would change about the NFL? I can't think of one thing that would change. That dome is still going to be there. That team is still going to be there. Dak and Zeke are still going to be there. Zach Martin will still be there. Tyron Smith. So Jerry Jones needs to figure out if he wants to stay or if he wants to leave.
And here's the worst thing about it. And I love Mark Cuban. Sometimes he can be wacky, but he was in the same boat. But the commission, a lot of people would also had things against Stern, and now Adam Silver is a more progressive guy. So he doesn't have as much beef, but he actually jumped on the bandwagon. So I don't know if they've talked or he knows what's going on. But he's like, I actually agree with Jerry Jones' situation. So when I hear a guy like that who's another businessman and he cares about that, it's something else beyond football. It's about money, and somebody got, now whether it's a personal beef, cost him some money, or he's getting ready to cost him some money, is to be seen. But I think like the NFL is going to win because it's just like the lockout. They were prepared to hold out until the union say, okay, you got to open your books up. Here, what do you guys want? Here you go. Well, let's negotiate this. They don't want you in their business.
Yeah.
And
so that's it. That's our updates of the week special. So juicy stuff going on.
Well, it's all kinds of drama this week in NFL. It was kind of quiet. I was getting nervous because, during the week I'm watching stories, I'm taking notes, what we're going to talk about. And I'm like, wow, ain't nothing going on. And then, never failed, Tuesday after the players got their day off and guys started media day talking, all these things come out. But we got some drama. So here's my question, because we talked about it a little bit last week. We didn't know, Thursday, we didn't know if Zeke was going to play or not, because it's been every Friday they've overturned it. So Zeke did not play. Also, Tyron Smith was injured, which was overshadowed by that, which I think was just as big as a piece. If you watch the game, the Cowboys got thumped 26-7, and Claiborne gave up. Claiborne had 6 sacks on defensive ends, and it was just a good old-fashioned thumping. And a lot now, I think Zeke, part of it was people. If you're not a football fan, if you're not into the game like me and Turk are, what Ezekiel Elliott does, I don't care about the touchdown. He makes it third and manageable, 4th and inches, 3rd and 2. They had a lot of, now granted because of the sacks, but also because they were on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. We got to see that Dak is good, but Dak might not be that type of drop back. He's not a Matt Ryan.
He can't get past. I can't believe that Adrian Claiborne did that to that man. He don't belong in the NBA because Adrian Claiborne is not
what he was in Iowa. Yeah, no.
And he played defensive end, man. He's like a 5 technique playing defense.
Yeah.
If he's gonna play defensive end, he's gonna be in the 3-4. He's not a guy that you put on the edge rusher.
Right.
He's not the body build. He don't have the measurables. How that guy was getting beat like that? Those guys, one of those guys is gonna be out of the NFL this week. They got him because that was bad. So
I give him. He's a young player. He's a second. I think he's a second-year guy. Maybe he wasn't.
He ain't gonna make it to his 3rd year.
Question though. So with all that, even if they get Tyron back without Zeke, are they done?
Done now. Let me tell you, I got Zeke in fantasy football, so I picked up Alfred Morris. I think Alfred Morris had 30 yards, and Atlanta's not a very good rush defense.
No, not at all.
So even without your left tackle, with the best guard in football and one of the top centers, and that strong right side, you should be fine. I don't think they're going to be able to reproduce what they did when Zeke missed games last year with McFadden and Morris, and it puts a lot on Dak. And I don't think the passing game is where it was at this time last year because the film is out on that. Now, Dak's still a good quarterback. I just don't think Dak's arm is going to get it done. Now, if they change the offense and run more read, and now Dak becomes a guy who's going to run for 50 yards a game, I may change my tune. But as they're presently constructed right now, they won't get it done.
Well, let me ask you this question, because me and you like to spar about things. Let's say they lead the offense with this, but here's what I'm looking at. Now the NFL is because they're wanting to, and if you obviously I play fantasy, what I'm seeing a lot the last 2 years, number one receivers are getting taken out of games. Deep coordinators are saying, you're going to beat me with your left hand, not your right hand. Now that now because of Seattle's success, and if it was a complicated league, a lot of these corners that they're drafting now are 6'1", 6'2", a little more. Now Dez Bryant's not. He has never been able to separate from people. And Tony Romo, he got a lot. You said he's a 50-50 guy. They're not doing Dak can't get open. Terrence Williams, I don't think they used him like he was being used at Baylor. He had a good game 2 weeks ago. I think he has the opportunity to do that, but Dak doesn't look that way. Beasley came back and he's had two really decent. Well, he had really one good game. He had a decent game. I don't know if they're ever going to use Switzer. Is it the fact that he doesn't have the tools on the outside?
I think that's a big part
that
of
are
it.
holding him back more so than him just.
I've said for the last couple of years, I think Dez is overrated where people put him. He's not an upper echelon receiver. He's not an
second tier.
He's a second tier guy because he's not a very good route runner. For as good as he is, he's a physical receiver. But when it comes to high pointing the ball, he's not a high jumper. So if he doesn't out physical you can make plays on the ball often against him.
Because Trufant had him on.
Yeah.
Block
And I think that they didn't get enough speed on the outside to kind of contradict what teams want to do to him. And at tight end, Witten is only going to do so much. Honestly, this is where I think they really misgathers the guy in preseason who looked like a mismatch as that second tight end, and they could go two tight ends in the game and do some things up the field, play action with a 6'7" mismatch guy. I know he was on IR. Maybe he comes back. And I know people are like Gathers. Well, what does that matter? No, I'm saying if you look at a team that can't run the ball and you put two tight ends on the field, and now teams have to play teams have to play a balanced defense against you. It's hard to double a guy, and now your tight ends are getting one-on-ones against linebackers.
And you control the middle of the field.
Yeah, now you got a chance to actually move the ball. I think it's going to be hard without a running game. Dallas, I don't think it's going to make the playoffs.
And their defense is suspect. I mean, they're bend.
Sean Lee is out. That's not good. They lost a couple guys.
Secondary was already iffy at best.
Yeah.
Jordan, I tell you what, I've been impressed with Jordan. I wish I could watch film like we watch film, because when the season started, I said he might be a bust, and he's gotten better. Like Jabril's kind of not doing anything. This Jordan Lewis is getting better every week.
But I will say that it's good to see Jordan Lewis, what he did in college, is translated to the NFL, because that's what you wonder about a smaller guy who doesn't run the high speed number. If what he did in college will translate, and what you see is that the exceptional footwork he had is translating, and he's not being overmatched physically, which was a concern for a guy that can't run, a guy that doesn't have a high vertical leap. But he's a smart guy. He's got great instincts, and he's got great footwork. So in a two deep or a one free defense, he's going to be able to make plays on the ball, and I think he's going to be a good player for him. Probably in a good team, he probably gets knocked inside. But right now, he's playing on the outside. He's had a pretty good season, and I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to be a starter for them down the line. And that starter, I mean, at least a nickelback on a very good team.
So this was the next breaking news that I was excited. Oh, we got stuff to talk about now. And I want to hear your opinion first, but the Bills decided Tuesday before practice started on Wednesday that they're going to bench Tyrod Taylor for the rookie Nate Peterman out of Pitt. Pretty decent specimen. Got a little bit of. He's a pocket passer. Mm-hmm. The Bills are a playoff in contention for a wild card after the a horrible season they had last year. Defense is playing pretty good outside last week. Is this a mistake or?
This is what I'll say, because and Tyrod Taylor had a horrible game last week. He had 56 yards, horrible. But if you look at his overall numbers for the year, he's 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, quarterback rating around 90. 60% completion percentage. He's a top 15 quarterback if you're looking at fantasy numbers. He's a top 15 guy. He'll run every once in a while, get you a couple rushing touchdowns. Only way that this works is if they're in practice and they are seeing Peterman. He looks like a complete stud, because for a playoff team, Tyrod Taylor is the safe pick. Now maybe Peterman. Only way you do this is if you think Peterman takes you to the next level, because he can't come in and be just safe and average because that's what Tyrod Taylor was.
Basically.
Yeah, he's got to be exceptional. So this guy must be very good in practice. I think it's a horrible mistake on a playoff team because you're pigeonholed to one. There's only one outcome, that this is not a complete epic failure. This guy has to come in and be outstanding. He can't be as good as Tyrod Taylor. He's got to be outstanding. Because if he's just as good, then it's a bad mistake because now you're going to second guess yourself, well, if we left Tyrod in, would we have gone further if he's just as good? So I say it's a bad mistake. You're rolling the dice. But maybe they see in practice this guy looks like the next coming to Carson Wentz. I didn't see it in college at all. But maybe they do.
I mean, you've talked about this. I just don't. I like the hustle of Tyrod Taylor. I like he's scrappy. You know, when they gave him that big contract, I was losing my mind until I found out, you know, that they could get out of that next year and all that. So, I don't think he's good. I don't think he pushes the ball down the field. I don't care what you say. As bad of a game, we've had some quarterbacks here that have been pretty bad, right, or tough. You look at some of these rookies out here. This man, and we're not talking about Seattle defense, Arizona's defense, some of these DBs that are just sit on the ball. This guy played the Saints, who are their opportunistic defense that gets a lot of turnovers. They're not a stellar bunch. They got some pass rushers. He threw for 57 yards and 2 picks, one interception. I think he had a fumble as well.
But hold on, brother. And just looking at his numbers, he's 163 out of 254. 64% completion.
But they're all dink and dunks. He doesn't take any shots.
64% completion percentage. He's getting 187 yards a game, 10 touchdowns.
He's a poor
3
man's version of
interceptions.
Alex Smith of like last year.
Yeah, but Alex Smith didn't get benched.
I understand that, but they don't. What they don't want is they don't want safe. They want to take advantage. Listen, if I got Shady McCoy, and you're throwing now, some of this is on the coach too. But if your quarterback isn't capable of making certain throws and doing things, I'm gonna put 9 in the box, and you're gonna have to prove to me you can beat us. And he's proved that he can't beat you. Now, granted, they went and got him a guy that they could throw the ball up to, and they have to get some more. Clay is dealing with injuries, but there's no other. They got some guys. Goodwin can run, but there's.
But this is what I'm saying. So Buffalo's not tanking.
No, I think that
right?
I think Peterman. What I'm guessing is they're going to give him a spark, and if he can push the ball downfield to Benjamin and O'Leary, because O'Leary's doing pretty good, and give Shady some space, because I think
They're already a top rushing team.
I understand that, but you saw what the Saints did. They load the box and they say you're going to have to beat us.
So simple matter.
I like it.
Buffalo's a playoff team right now.
Wild card.
Wild card.
Yeah.
If they don't make if Peterman comes in and they don't make the wild card,
They're
I
fine
think
because
somebody's in trouble.
No.
How?
I think because what they weren't expecting to have this success.
It don't matter. You're here now. You got to win. You don't know what happens. You get hot and stuff. In the NFL, you don't tank. When
I don't think they're
there,
tanking.
you're there.
I don't think they're tanking. I think
it's unless he's exceptional, this has the smell of a tank.
I mean, here's the thing. What's the
now
problem?
what you're doing is
Why can't you put my man back in though if it don't work for a game?
No, you can't. What you did right here, this can't work because you benched him.
He's going.
You benched a guy with a 91 QB rating, 10 touchdowns.
They're not bringing him back anyway.
It
So
don't
it's not
matter if
like
you
they
bring
got to
him
deal
back.
with him.
Kirk Cousins is not coming back to Washington.
But they disrespect him in a way. He's a good football player, and I don't know why.
If you look at his numbers, they're not much better than
I bet
Tyrod
you.
Taylor.
The man throws for 4,000 yards the last 3 years. Tyrod Taylor probably hadn't thrown for 3,000.
187 yards a game is going to get you.
That's awful. That's high school players do better than that, man.
187 yards a game?
Yes, man. Come on. Blake Bortles is damn near throwing for 200. He's garbage.
First off, he's not.
Huh?
So stop.
Huh?
Stop.
Go look at some of their stats.
I'm going to go look at the stats right now.
All right.
You're talking crazy.
While you're looking at that, the Saints, after starting 0-2, have rounded off 7 wins, 7 impressive wins against some good teams. All right, they're not some chumps. Are you going to look at them? Are they a serious contender for the NFC and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
First off, when it came to what you said earlier about Blake Bortles, okay, you were right. He's averaging 214 yards a game, but he's got 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Okay, so he got 3 more picks, but he's a bad quarterback at him is completing throwing for over 200. He's bad. And you're saying, great, 187 yards, no picks, but we're not making.
But he's got another 260 yards rushing. And he's getting 6 yards of carry. I just think that Tyrod Taylor gives you enough offensively to help you win the games. He's proven it over his career. I just don't understand the move. Unless Peterman is exceptional, which I highly doubt he is.
I'm willing to roll the dice for a game.
Okay. That's why you're not GM. Dice rolling.
Hey, you know what? Go big or go home. All right. So I said last thing is Saints 7-2 have brought off 7 straight. Are they a serious contender for the NFC to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
No, I think that the Saints are a good regular season team. I think Drew Brees is getting it done, and they're playing exceptional football. I just don't think at the end of the day they've got enough defensively to match up with the Eagles. You saw what happened in that game. And I think offensively that they're running the ball at an exceptional rate, but I don't think that that's going to be something that's going to win games for them in the playoffs, because I don't think Drew Brees is going to be able to push the ball down the field, make plays. I don't think the New Orleans Saints are a playoff team. Now, if they make it on the table and they get one of the top 2 seeds and you got to play in New Orleans all those games, I'm changing my tune. Now, if they're one of the 1-2,
No.
I'm saying they're not a Super Bowl team, but they're at least going to make it to the NFC Championship. I still don't think they win it. They get blown off there because they got to go on the road. But I wouldn't want to play the Superdome. I don't care when it is.
Okay, well, that was going to be my point. I said because right now they're going to battle the Eagles.
Yeah.
Probably for the top spot. The Eagles slip up, have somebody gets hurt, or something happens.
It's a big slip up.
Well, I'm just saying that if Carson Wentz gets hurt for 2 games and they lose those 2 games, so I'm just saying anything happen, but because it's close right now. If they are the top seed, okay, let's say they finish 12-11 or 12-4, and the Eagles finish 11-5. And it gets down to going to that dome. It's hard to play there. It's loud. And here's what it is. Even if they got to go on the road, the weather could be a problem. But if they're at home, they can run the ball. Mm-hmm. They're not, like we said, they're not a great defense, but they're opportunistic. They create turnovers and they capitalize on them. And just like I played with Drew Brees, and no matter how bad it looks, he's just a winner. I don't care how many stats he can make. So in that dome, with that system, him and Peyton, I give them yes. I'll say yes, they are a serious contender. I think it does. If they stay healthy in Eagles, I think it comes down to them and the Eagles. Sorry, Lions fans. And
I think at home they can win as long as they're at home. If they have to go on the road in the playoffs, it's a totally different team. I wouldn't trust them.
As Turk says, when it gets to that point, check the tape. Come back, check the tape, see who's right. All right. Well, before we move on, I just wanted here. Let's give our views of, because we just got to pick winners. We ain't got to worry about the spread.
Yeah.
So NFL games this week. Top games. We got tonight's game. Titans at the Steelers. Who do you have?
Man, that game. I love this matchup on Thursday night. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to go after what I saw of the Steelers last week. I think that they bounced back and played better. Even though they beat the Colts, very shaky early. I'm going to say the Steelers are going to win this game at home.
I got the Titans because really they have Mike Mularkey there. They have Dick LeBeau. They're basically Pittsburgh Junior. They have 2 exceptional running backs. They have a mobile quarterback. They have a very good tight end, and they have some sneaky receivers. Not great, but they get it done.
I will say this, that the national audience may meet Corey Davis tonight.
Yes.
The man can play.
Yeah, when he's healthy, when he's been healthy, he's put up.
The man can play, and Joe Hayden is out with a broken leg. Watch out, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh's not doing well against the pass.
Start your Tennessee receivers.
I got one of them in, but I will keep that quiet. All right, we have the Rams at the Vikings.
You know what? I'm taking the Rams because I think what Sean McDermott has done with that team is amazing offensively. There's no quarterback that's playing better football right now than Jared Goff. Maybe Carson Wentz. That Rams team looks exceptional, home or away. They're running the same stuff, doing the same things. Vikings got a little bit of question mark at quarterback. Somebody's going to be second-guessing themselves. Who's ever on the field, I like the Rams to win this game in Minnesota.
I was just like you. I defensive coach. Defense wins championships, wins games. That defense is really good, especially in the dome. I think Case Keenum is going to play.
What dome, man? Minnesota play outdoors.
No, they don't. They're back in the dome, bro. They used to play outdoors for those years because they were building. They're back in the. I think.
Shut up.
I think that this absurdness, which we didn't get a chance to get to today, and maybe you didn't hear it, but they're talking about starting Bridgewater next week. And I'm like, you got a good thing going. What's happening right now? I think Case Keenum is going to, he's tired of disrespect everywhere he goes. He comes in, he plays well enough to win, but he just doesn't. He doesn't get his due. So I think he's also going to play well. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home. But I think it's going to be like the Washington game. I think it's going to be a 38-35 type game. It's going to be points on the board. All right, Patriots at the Raiders in Mexico City. Who you got?
Patriots at the Raiders. Man, Pats Raiders are looking, and they're on life support, and this may be the one that knocks them out. I got the Pats winning this one.
Yeah, like you said, they're on life support, and that's why I was thinking a wounded animal is a dangerous animal, and they may be a little. Now I know the Patriots stayed in. They stayed out there in with the Colorado, practice at the Air Force Academy to get adjusted to the sea level. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Pats, but I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a field goal game.
Okay.
Next one we have. It would have been exciting, but I think we both know Eagles at the Cowboys.
Man, Eagles are rolling right now. Sean Lee's out. Expect Carson Wentz to light them up. Jay Ajay to run for a couple yards. And I don't think Dallas has enough to keep up. Eagles on the road.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be. I think this is one of those ones. I don't know what the Dons are going to say, but I think this is going to be they're going to put up some. There could be a 40. It could be ugly.
It could be ugly.
All right, last one we have is the Monday night game. Is the Falcons versus the Seahawks.
Falcons versus the Seahawks. Richard Sherman's out for the year. It's going to be devastating to the Falcons. I mean to the Seahawks. And the Atlanta Falcons are coming off an impressive win at home. This is where they start. This is where a veteran team starts to turn the corner. I got Atlanta with a big win at Seattle.
You look at my nose, man, for the show?
No, I did not. I'm just good.
Same thing. I got Atlanta. I think Julio Jones is finally. The coach has been stressing to get him the ball. They've been a little frustration. They're not a good red zone team. I think this is the game where one of those games where he always busts out every year, 200, 150-yard game. I think this is it, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns for him, because they're not going to have an answer, especially if Earl's he's not up to the task, because people don't really understand.
The Jags.
There's been a lot of trash talking this week.
Taj Gibson. Is it Taj Gibson his name? Sean Gibson.
Sean
Gibson took a dump on the Cleveland organization, just like we've been taking dumps on this show on a weekly basis, because they are a bum organization. The Jacksonville Jaguars are probably the best defense in the league. Kaiser is going to get mauled this week. This is not the Lions they're playing, and I'm a Lions fan. This Jaguar defense is nasty. They are hungry. Watch out, Cleveland. You might get skunked, and I fully expect the Jaguars to lay the paint on them.
I think I'm going to say Jags are going to win. Here's what I do have, a little sneak of my fantasy stuff is D.D. Westbrook's supposed to be coming back this week, and if you watch him in the preseason, I think if he comes back, he could be something that they're not ready for, and especially if Jabril's got to deal with him in the slot or something of that nature. I don't know.
Jabril's better not dealing with nobody. He's 20 yards behind
I
the ball.
think I think it's going to be a lot of hooping and hollering because they were talking. I think the Jags blow this up. I think Fournette gets back on pace, and I think it could start out close, but it could be upset alert. But obviously, I think the Jags are going to pull this one out, probably a 10-point game. But it's going to be Browns aren't bad. They're a good enough football team to keep things close. They just don't have enough to put them over top. And the last one, so I don't get beat up in here, is the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears.
All right. So the Lions will usually lose this game, coming off of a disappointing game against the Browns first half on the road, must-win situation. But in the years past, they have not had Turk with them for the pregame speech. So when I get in there and I pump these boys up, expect a 17-point slobber knocker to the Bears. Lions by 17. Let's go!
I have Chicago.
Of course you do.
So I'm going to let you guys know right now, producer Jay doesn't think that this is a serious fantasy stuff because he played the non-serious fantasy open. So
you got some others.
yeah, but don't worry about it because it's really not a serious. I had a bad week last week, and I apologize.
Horrible week.
I picked your boy Tyrod Taylor.
I got phone calls, man. People lost major money on these bum picks that you got.
Yeah, but it's been only.
You were a bum of the week candidate because of the picks.
And partly because of Tyrod Taylor. Too much faith in him and his new toy up there, and he whatever. So I'm gonna give you this right now. FanDuel, I'll post that tomorrow. There's some things I'm working on with that. There's things working out. I want to get it right, but I do have for you today. I'm going to give you something special. I'm going to give you 2 lineups real quick, and then we'll get the real betting guys on here. But here we go. For FanDuel lineup this week. I'm gonna give you two of them pretty serious. First one, we got Carson Wentz, Jay Ajayi, and we're gonna stack them with Alshon Jeffries. That's gonna be our stack with for that. Go with Alvin Kamara. Washington's not a great run stopping defense, middle of the pack. These guys are on a roll. They're playing in the dome. I'm going with that. Adam Thielen is the man up there. It seems that him and Case Keenum have a nice rapport. Kind of Diggs is kind of getting pushed out, and it's kind of Thielen and Rudolph. So I got Thielen. We got Tyreek Hill. I've been looking at doing a little analytics. If he has a high scoring week, the next week he's usually not good. Then next week is high. And he's on pace right now to score pretty high. They're on a New York Giants team that is a mess. They're not with the coach on the same board with the coach. There's guys suspended. The offense is dreadful. I think Kansas City's going to have more offensive possession, so he's going to break out, and also in special teams. We got Julius Thomas. He finally woke up. Him and Jay Cutler started to get on the same page. He looked like the Julius Thomas from Denver. Been waiting for that. Looks like it's going to go. And then my special teams this week, we got Justin Tucker. They're playing Green Bay. I think the weather's going to be cold, a little inclement up there. I think it's going to be some field goal battles, so we're going with that. And then the defense, I'm going to look at Baltimore. I know Brett Hundley played okay, but Baltimore is a pretty good defense, and they're going to send stuff his way, and they're going to hit him in the mouth. So that's my first lineup. Give you a little bonus this week, my second lineup. What we're going to do is we're going to stack Jared Goff, Gurley, and Robert Woods. They've been going off. I think they can still have some success against Minnesota, maybe come down to earth a little bit for Robert Woods. But it seems like him and Goff, that's his go-to guy now, because Sammy Watkins is just a one-hit wonder. We got Ajayi back in this lineup, and tight end we got Kills. So with that, we had to pick some lower price receivers. Ted Ginn is the same way as kind of Tyreek Hill. It's about time for him to have a big game. He's been having better games in the dome than out of the dome. And then we're going to go with Crowder. He's emerging right now because Pryor's not doing anything, and Dotson is kind of becoming a red zone target, but Crowder is the guy that he's using over field. He's getting more. He's starting to get 10, 11, 12 targets the last couple weeks. Kicker, we're going to go with Zerline. He's actually the best fantasy kicker because obviously the Rams are one of the top scoring offenses in the NFL. And then we're going to go with that Jags defense against Cleveland. Pretty much, even last week I took the Lions, even though I picked them to be an upset. I took their defense. They gave you 15 points. So Cleveland's just pretty bad on offense, and Jacksonville leads the league in sacks, and their secondary is pretty good. So that's what I got for you today. What I will do tomorrow is I will post the new the Golden Five and the DraftKings selection. So you get on Rockin' Turk Sports on Facebook, and I'll have those posted tomorrow. And actually, I'm sorry, I can give that to you right now. I do have it. Here we have the NFL Mini. It's the 5 players, don't have to worry about salary. I got Carson Wentz, got Kareem Hunt, Jay Ajayi, Adam Thielen, and Tyreek Hill. If you win about, I think it's about $1,000. But if you have a perfect lineup, it's $220,000 that you'll win this week. So, and that's a free play for you. So check, play the podcast, re-listen to it when we post it tomorrow, and those are your winners for the week. And once again, if you win, you send us 10% and enjoy your winnings. All right, well, we have little technical difficulties, but here we have one half of the Godfather's Gambling Dons. We have Jamal. Mr. Jamal, are you here with us?
I am here.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Sorry we didn't have your intro music, just having a couple little technical difficulties.
Hey, I can work on your intro music. Bum, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum, bum. Hey, you gotta stay on the phone long enough so that our callers can get a trace on your location, because they need that rent money from last week.
Because right, that Ohio State game, man, we told you to keep your head in the swivel. We got
quotables 248-721-8570. Quote unquote, I would bet, quote unquote, Jamal the gambling man.
He's hiding in a bunker somewhere.
Somewhere in Southfield. No. Quote unquote, he said I would bet everything I had on the under that Michigan State would cover the spread. There was only one spread going on in Columbus this weekend, and it was Spread Eagle.
And I'm,
hey, Jamal, real quick. Hey, real quick, one of the callers, one of the listeners tweeted on here. He needs your IP address. I don't know what that's for. You know? Yeah. Oh, double down.
hey, when I like the best line that Turk had last week when he said, "When you see that man rolling up in a car with a whole bunch of Ohio State stuff packed inside of it, that man is looking for you."
Looking for you.
All right, well, what we got this week, man? Huh?
Yeah, we got, we're going to start off with the NFL games. We'll get to college in a second. And last week in the NFL, 2-1. Me and Dr. Dollars, we did not have too much variation, but I did come out ahead of them last week by taking the Chargers and with the points and also taking the Saints to beat the Bills. This week, I have the games picked out very similar to what you guys picked out. But I actually am going to go with a little bit of differences here. Let me pull up my script here. So Tennessee in the Steelers' first game is what I picked. The Titans are 6-3, are actually in fourth place right now in the playoff picture. Steelers right now have the number 1 overall seed. They're looking to try to stay in front of New England for home field advantage because I don't believe that they believe that they can go into Foxborough and beat the Patriots. So I think we're going to see the Patriots Steelers come out and play with their best game. Ben Roethlisberger has not been a great quarterback. Steelers are actually laying 7 points. I think that's too much. I'm actually taking the Titans plus the 7 points. Next game, the Lions and the Bears. Lions, look, they came out, they won the game. They were trying to be too balanced on offense. I had no idea why that was their game plan. Turk, get into Coach Caldwell's ear, Jim Bob Cooter's ear. Tell them to please throw the ball. They were most effective when they were throwing it. They are only laying 3.5 points here. I'm actually they're only laying 3 points right now. Spread. The Lions are a much better team than the Bears. Let's not overcomplicate. Let's not overthink this game. Take the Lions. Lay the 3 points. You'll come out with.
Oh my God. Kiss of death. The man picked the Lions to win and cover the spread. Kiss of death. All right, go ahead.
Next game, I think this is probably the best game of the weekend. 7-2 Rams at the 7-2 Vikings. I'm actually starting to turn into a believer of the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams. They are actually getting 2.5 points on the road. I think the quarterback found in Minnesota may have caused a little bit of maybe deficient in the team. It also may be a reason why they may not be as strong with the Teddy Bridgewater and Case Keenum kind of fiasco, I guess that you can call it, or Zimmer not being confident naming keys that you're starting to yesterday. The Rams are hot. I think they got great mojo. I think they're slightly better on defense. I think they're slightly better on offense. And they're getting 2.5 points. I'm actually going to take the Rams to go up to Minnesota, to beat the Vikings, and to keep rolling towards the playoffs. And that's a good football team.
I like that pick there.
Next game.
Did he say that he picks Minnesota to beat the Vikings?
He said he picked the Rams, beat
I'm
the
taking the
Vikings.
Rams to beat the Vikings.
Come on,
The
man.
Rams are getting 2.5 points.
Let's go.
But I think that they're going to beat them straight up.
Jared Goff, most improved player in the NFL. All right, go ahead.
Absolutely. Next game, I actually got the Pats and Oakland. If that is Oakland's base pretty much this whole year, they're actually in 8th place. In the playoff picture, they're also in 1 game back of the 6th spot. This is a big game for Oakland. This is a make-or-break game for their season. Because of that, I think they will keep it close. The Patriots are actually laying 7 points. The Patriots, I think, will score at will. Well, so I think Oakland. I think you'll see Oakland come out offensively, score points, 2 points from the board, keep it competitive. I think the Patriots will win maybe 31-27, but I do think Oakland covers the spread, so give me Oakland plus the 7 points. The next game, I got the 8-1 Eagles at the 5-1 Cowboys. The Eagles are only laying 3.5 points. Look, this game is going to be close. I am the resident Cowboys fan on the show.
Fanboy.
But as I said, I have the responsibility to be objective. Cowboys don't look good. They're not the same team without Zeke. I think Carson Wentz stands his MVP candidacy with this game in Sunday night prime time at Dallas. Big star, big audience. You'll see Carson Wentz come out and say, great game. by 2 points. Take the Eagles, lay 3.5 points. It's probably going to be your easiest pick of the week. I think that game won't be too competitive towards the end. Last game I'm taking in the NFL. 5-4 Atlanta at 6-3 Seahawks. Turk, you're drinking the Atlanta Kool-Aid way too early, man. They came out and beat my Cowboys. Claymore had an excellent game. But going up to Seattle. Seattle's 6-3. Russell Wilson and that offense found their groove. And they're only giving 3 points. So that's basically telling you the home team is worth 3 points and they're getting they're laying 3 points also. That's basically telling you that they're about 7 points better, 6 to 7 points better than the Seahawks. Then the Falcons will see the Seahawks in that game. I'm calling it 24-13. I got the Seahawks in that game.
Here's my problem with that, Mr. Gambling Don. You have a Doug Baldwin who's questionable. He's probably going to play, but he's questionable. You have a pretty bad offensive line in Seattle. You have no running game, and you have a Russell Wilson that's running around for his life. And then you have Richardson. I'll give them. He's turned out to be what he was before he got injured. Lockett is your special team guy. He's not a great route runner. He makes a few plays here and there. And it's Jimmy Graham. They really only seem to be using him in the red zone. So I think Atlanta, I think it's the other way around. I think Atlanta's hitting on all cylinders. I think they get the low points because it is loud up there, and that's part of the thing that they have to deal with. But you're without Richard Sherman. You got Jeremy Lane, who's whatever. And they just signed, they brought back Byron Maxwell, or not Byron, I think that's his name. They brought back Maxwell. I just don't see them going, I'm with Turk. I see it being, and I think Julio's going to have a field day. That's about one I don't agree with you. So I'll state that for the record.
You know what, guys? I think that's fine. You're still trusting. I don't know if Freeman's going to play. He looks like he's covered.
Who cares? They got Tevin Coleman. Is a boss. You said only 4 yards of carry? That's a lot, bro. Neutralize. I do.
All right, we'll see.
What we're going to do, man, is we're going to have you stay on the line, hide out in your bunker, wherever you at, from hiding from these fans.
What's that IP address again?
We're going to hop on this.
By the way, real quick, like, do what you guys do. You guys need to get in on some of this spread bets. I was 12-2 picking the game straight up last year.
Hold on, straight up?
Picking the game straight up, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but we.
I get into some of the real bits, the real part here.
All right, we might be on that, but what are you against the spread?
I am in the 75th.
No, don't give me the percentile, bro. Give us, what's your win-loss record, bro? You about average.
I don't have no more money. I put it all on Michigan State to cover. All right.
We'll be back with you when we get to the college pick'ems.
Yes. As I sit here stuffing my face with the Beirut Palace, shout out to Beirut. It's hard to take a moment off from a shawarma, sitting in front of me talking to me. But we've reached the Bum of the Week segment. And for about 30 seconds there, I may have become the Bum of the Week after not coming up to the show when it started. But as always, we present to you the guys who are making news and making news in a spectacular way. This week, we go no further than the SEC, the dominant, quote-unquote, conference of our college football season. year in and year out, SEC supposedly reigns supreme. Well, this week's Bum of the Week, he started the season off by berating the media because he thought they were too hard on his kids. He thought that they deserved better, and we need to be more positive about what's going on in our university. Unfortunately, that sorry excuse of an explanation to the media did not save his job. This week's Bum of the Week is none other than our own Mr. Butch Harry Knuckles Jones, who was fired by the Tennessee Volunteers. And you say, man, we're in Michigan. Why do you call a guy like Butch Jones Bum of the Week? Well, for those who don't know, Butch Jones, former coach, Central Michigan, former coach at the University of Cincinnati, was put into a prime situation to succeed in Tennessee, which has historically been a hotbed of talent, a consensus force in the SEC. Well, under Butch Jones, this team has, year in and year out, been a disappointment. And if you needed to look any further than the beginning of the end, and we talked about it earlier in the season on this show, when Mr. Butch Jones decided that he was going to play cover 6 at the 50-yard line against the Florida Bum Gators, and they gave up the Hail Mary to lose the game. Ironically, the two coaches that played in that miserable game both got fired this month. What are the odds? So, Mr. Butch Jones joins a long line of SEC failures who could not compete with Alabama, Georgia, and sometimes Auburn. So, Mr. Butch Jones, former coach of Central Michigan, former coach of Cincinnati, near and dear to our hearts here in the state of Michigan. He's lonely right now. He's out of a job. He's looking for the media because he wants them to be positive. He's probably going to come back to Michigan because this is where it all started for him. So, if you happen to be in Ferndale this weekend, Thanksgiving, Butch Jones may be out looking for a haircut before he goes home, cut that Thanksgiving turkey because he won't be playing any games. You say, hey, Butch, how's it going? How's those knuckles? He may say yes, he may say no, he may say Harry, he may say glow. Whatever he says, say, hey, Butch, man, I know you had a hard season. I saw the Hail Mary. It was a bad call. But if it makes you feel any better, both you idiots got fired. Butch, I got $1 for you. It's cab, you can have it. I'll take the next one. You go ahead, you get in that cab, you go home, you hug your family, and you tell them, hey, I may be a loser, but at least I didn't coach the Gators. Butch, I'm sure we'll see you back in college football at some point. Next time, word to the wise, never run cover 6 at the 50-yard line. It may save your job. This week's Bum of the Week, none other than Butch Harry Knuckle Jones.
Well, do you know where he's going to coach next?
What's the rumor?
No, it's not the rumor. It's the succession of what happens.
What happens?
So, Brian Kelly left Grand Valley to take the Central job.
Yes.
When he left Central for the Cincinnati job, Butch Jones got Central Michigan.
Are you telling me Butch that would be an epic failure if they did that?
I think, I try not to say this because we're in a profession, but just like when we were players, we spit truth, right? I think he's a MAC. I think he's a Conference USA American.
Yes.
I don't think he's a Power 5
I think
coach.
he's all sizzle, no steak.
Yeah.
And Tennessee has had enough talent to be better than they are. And year in and year out, they look stupid. They lose about 4 or 5 games.
But like you always say, and me and you at least always say it is, careful what you wish for. Yes, Philip Fulmer, near the end, they were struggling, but they were still winning going to bowl
Careful what
games.
you look for.
And you got rid of him, and what you had Duel, that's he's a Cowboys receiver coach now. Then you had to mess with Lane Kiffin. Then you got Butch, and the thing is, you haven't found what's going on. Now, the only good thing, like you said, SEC's gonna have a lot of vacancies this year.
A lot of vacancies.
You got Chip Kelly snooping around. I think he may get. I forgot to mention him for the Florida job,
Yeah.
but Scott Frost is sneaking around somewhere. He may get Tennessee.
Arkansas, Brett Bielema, hot seat.
So, and I think I heard a report the other day. They're not even letting the university fire Kevin Sumlin. They already talking about Texas A&M. Like they talking about who's like the next coach candidate. The university hasn't said anything. So SEC might have 4 or 5 jobs.
And 4 or 5 very good jobs.
Yeah, with talent at the program.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like that one. That was Butch Jones.
Butch Harry Knuckle Jones.
I never.
You know, as a guy with hairy knuckles, I take offense.
Well, we call you Jay Harry Knuckles Naylor, but you're not Bum of the Week. So.
I'm gonna start calling you. You look like a bear. When's the first time you wore a short sleeve shirt? Bro, you must be hot in the summertime.
Hey, side note though, I got to tell you, man, the fall, there's nothing better than fall sports, man. Tonight we got Tennessee at Pittsburgh. We got Boston against Golden State. I mean,
and you got Houston. You gonna say, hey, you want to see 150 points, 150 to 149 games? Check out Houston and Phoenix tonight.
oh yeah, because
Basketball.
Phoenix plays no D,
They put up
and
points,
Houston
bro.
has James Harden. So yeah, somebody
And
scored
Chris Paul
150.
back tonight too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a great night. If you like basketball or football, take your pick here, because that Tennessee Pittsburgh game, I think people don't realize those are not just Marcus Mariota. They know the sexy picks. You need to look at the meat and potatoes of that Tennessee Titans have a good roster of young talent. Look out for that team in the near future.
And if you like to watch, Dick LeBeau, maybe 82 years old, he's still sharp.
Still bringing that heat.
And they bring some of them. These are games that I
Yeah.
try to steal some of their blitzes and try to figure if I can get high school kids to do it. He's a guy who created his own blitz. He's very creative in stopping these creative
Like
offenses.
you watch when you coach, you watch guys and see like Don Brown. I watch his stunts and his blitzes that he does. Dick LeBeau's a guy you always watch how he's able to create pressure with multiple looks in that 3-4 defense. That 3-man line, man. The guy that made Troy Polamalu what he is. I still say it. That scheme was fantastic for him. That guy is a very good coach, and at 82 years old, it's amazing. Think about 82 years old.
And he's a former Detroit Lion.
Former Detroit Lion. One of the all-time, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great cornerbacks. Lock it down, secondary guy, no fly zone. That guy at 83. I mean, let's really talk about that though. 82 years old. How many 82 years olds you know who first off they drive?
First of all, he looks like he's 65.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a playbook of over 300 plays, 400
he's
plays.
been coaching. They said 43 years.
He's calling from a playbook of over 400 plays. At 80 years old. I mean, you talk about sharp as a whistle. That's a guy. That's the way you want to emulate. Dick. You want to be like Dick LeBeau when you get a little older. That guy's gonna be one that you're gonna want to hear stories from. Pick his brain all the way to the end because he is out here doing it.
Absolutely.
Yes, you heard it here. It is college football time. It is the fall. It is late November. We're 1 week away from Thanksgiving. What are we doing right now? We are talking college football because that is the hot topic in sports.
And I put a little USC on there for the big USC-UCLA showdown.
Big showdown this weekend. That's another. We talk about guys that doesn't get fired. Watch out for Jim Moore. That's another guy that's.
Hey, Jay, turn the music up, man.
Well, back up.
All right.
We want to jam it.
So, last week we saw, and I picked this one. Alabama went in, and Mississippi State played them tough early. Alabama made the plays down the stretch. I mean, Jalen Hurts was amazing down the stretch. Calvin Ridley, why Mississippi State refused to double him and make sure he's not the one to beat him, I don't know. The guy made plays up and down the game. Big down situations, third and long. He made plays, clutch situations. Alabama won a big game on the road, but two of their starting linebackers were hurt. They're not going to be back this week. The injuries are starting to mount up. They had a couple guys get nicked up. Secondary's definitely depleted. Are the injuries starting to worry you? Because around the corner, an Auburn team that whooped Georgia, who I said would not happen. I thought Georgia would win, but Auburn looked a lot better than what people thought. Are we concerned that Alabama's not going to be healthy enough to sustain what they're doing?
I know I was about to fire you off some text too because I told you that was the upset of the week last week. And when I saw that, I was like, it's about to happen. I think, like you said, I was with you. I thought Georgia was going. I thought it was going to be a little butt whooping. End up being pretty wild. I think that if Alabama, they're supposed to be getting one of their backers back next week, but you know how that is. You come back from injury, you're not necessarily ready to pick up where you left off. I think that is a major concern. I think that's the only thing that's in Alabama's way is themselves because let's just look at they're going to play Auburn and then they got to go play a pretty nasty, pretty tough Georgia team. So if they're not healthy, we could see a 1, maybe 2 losses out of Alabama. I know that sounds crazy, but then they get knocked out the playoffs for the first time, I believe. So they're on upset alert for the rest of the season.
I just think that Jalen Hurts is playing at another level. I mean, I thought he would be limited passing, but in big game situations when they needed him to make the throw, he's made all the throws. I just think that then this week they'll be fine. Next week is the big game, the Auburn game. I think that's going to decide it. But man, he's looked good. He's been impressive. Second, Wisconsin. They got a big game. Michigan's coming to town. Wisconsin's undefeated. They had a very convincing win against Iowa. Defense was outstanding, creating turnovers, scoring touchdowns on defense. Defense really did a lot against Iowa, a team that whooped Ohio State the week before. So, Wisconsin good enough. If they're good enough to beat Michigan, and then they go to the playoff undefeated, and they beat either Ohio State at this point, Ohio State's odds-on favorite to go, but Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan still alive. Not if they beat Michigan. Michigan's obviously not alive. But let's say Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State, still alive. If they go there and they win the next two games, Wisconsin, are they locked to be in that Final Four? Have they earned it? What's your take?
I think that they are going to be Michigan. I think Mr. Peters has played well, but he hasn't really played anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a good defense he's going to see. Michigan is going to be the best running offense they've seen now. Horningbrook, he's a game manager, but I think he's good. He'll be okay. You got to stop 23, and you got to stop Fumagalli. Their number one receiver got hurt, but the kid, I don't know his name, the kid that stepped in, he actually had a pretty good game. Here's my problem. When you get to, I think them and Penn State are the exact same creature. They both have a running back you got to stop. They both have a good tight end you got to stop. I think Penn State has a probably better receiving core. Defensively, I'd probably give the edge to Wisconsin. But I don't think Wisconsin matches up with Ohio State, and I think Ohio State's going to beat Michigan, and they're going to be the representative. So if they do knock them all out, yes, I think they should be in because they won their conference, the Big Ten Conference, which is I think is still the best conference this year because everybody's just beating up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like past years when Ohio State's won and ran through it, they were like a head and shoulders above everybody else.
Big Ten's good.
Yeah.
Big Ten's very competitive.
But my personal thing is what I'm worried about is that we may get shut out. Barring any major chaos from the rest of the country, I think Ohio State beats Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, and we don't have a representative.
I think I will say this though: Ohio State definitely got a break when Notre Dame got blew out, when Georgia lost. I think that it sets up to where the loser of this Clemson-Miami game is going to be out.
Yeah.
And I think with Georgia losing, Alabama win. That's two teams. I think the one that's going to be tricky is Oklahoma, and what happens with them in that conference because they've got the higher up on Ohio State. The best bet I still think is Ohio State to win out to represent. Wisconsin wins out. They deserve to be there. I don't know how you keep them out, but our best bet, our best team, I think, is Ohio State at this point. Till I see differently. I know it's hard because teams have gotten lopsided scores and stuff. Wisconsin wins out, they're going to be there. In my opinion, they need to be there. They don't deserve to be there. Even if they win out, I still don't think they're one of the top four teams. But they will have earned it.
I think
we'll see what happens.
I think it's going to be hard pressed to see to beat Oklahoma State on a neutral field if it's decent weather conditions because that's going to be your Big 12 championship.
To do it again. But if they do,
then you got those because now you're looking at if they win this weekend, they'll probably be top 10 or between 10 or 11. So Oklahoma beats them again. They beat a ranked opponent 3 out of the.
And they will have the tiebreaker over Ohio State.
Absolutely.
So a win for Wisconsin over Ohio State doesn't mean as much as Oklahoma already beating Ohio State, and a win over Oklahoma State twice. No, so they need to beat Michigan convincingly. Wisconsin, they do. Which is not, I don't want to see, but that's what it's going to come down to. All right. New college football playoff rankings released. They've got Alabama, obviously, is number one. Clemson is Miami's number two. Clemson's number two, Miami number three, Oklahoma number four. Did they get it right?
I think so. I think it was pretty easy for them to get it. I think Clemson was 4. I don't think you put them over. I don't think you put Miami over them. Miami is. And the thing I like about the committee is we're not just BCS in it, right, where it's just computer, you're crunching numbers. They're taking everything to count. Miami is undefeated, but they played Syracuse. They had to win at the very end. They had to beat Florida State at the very end. They had to beat North Carolina at the very end. Those are all teams that are like cellar dwellers right now. They all got 2 and 3 wins. They came out and they handled business against a Notre Dame team who I think was a little overrated. Winbush, that was how they had to win. If you get Notre Dame down, Winbush is not the guy who can throw, and you saw what happened. That turnover chain was out damn near every other series because they were getting turnovers. So I think they got it right. I think Miami should be over Oklahoma. They're undefeated, And I think, you know, on a neutral field, I think Miami's defense might overpower Oklahoma. People don't realize how good Miami's front four is. They're probably their starting four. I would put them in the same caliber as Ohio State.
That was an amazing what I saw, because Notre Dame's got a top 5 left tackle. I mean, they got a guy that's supposed to be a bona fide stud, and I mean, they even gave him trouble with the stunts they were doing in the blitzes. Miami's fast, and they're bigger than what people think. I know that people think they're small and fast. They're not. They got some guys, the defensive end, 260-pound guys that can turn the corner and get low. And I mean, they were coming after it. I love Miami's excitement, turnover chain thing. Man, that's hot.
Not to be, and when people you say, well, how can a football player be small? It's illusions, and this is not. Those guys are so dark, and the color scheme that they wear, especially if they wear the green pants, it all blends in. So they look like their leg. They look like a bunch of little skinny guys running there. When you get down, these guys are men. These are big dudes.
So the only one that I would have grief with in Miami and Clemson, but they play each other, so it's going to work itself out. I'm not really stressed about it.
Here's another thing too, and I want to talk about this. Do you not like how? Do I think there should be 8 teams? Sure, I think all the Power 5 champions should get in. But right now, what we're witnessing the last 2 weeks is playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's sudden death right now. You know, you can't afford to lose, and I mean, I like it that way. I don't like, you know, if it was 8 teams, you could lose. Notre Dame is still in the hunt. Well, that loss won't matter. That loss mattered. They put them out of it, and 8 teams get in. They're still right there, still top 8. So it matters. I like it at 4, and this is another reason. I would go to 6, maybe give the top 2 a bye, but other than that, I'm really not interested in going to 8. Next.
Well, here we go. So we got our games for this week.
Yes.
We have number 24 Michigan at number 5 Wisconsin.
Oh man, Wisconsin. I don't like this matchup for Michigan because I have not seen Peters do anything under duress, and I don't think. And this is what Harbaugh's done the last couple weeks with Peters. He's flattened the ball, ran the hell out of the ball, double tight. Sometimes you see 3 tight ends on the field, and they're able to get second and short, you know, get first downs, third and manageable. I think against Wisconsin, those runs could be 2nd and 8.
Right.
And then what? And I think this is the problem. You can't put Peters in a situation where he's got to throw now. Michigan is going to concede a lot of possessions in that game, meaning 2nd and long, I'm still running the ball. 3rd and long, I'm running a screen or I'm running a draw because my quarterback is not in the fire yet. I'm not going to put him in a position where he's got to throw. He's going to turn the ball over and create touchdowns for a defense that is opportunistic. And with that being said, I think Wisconsin.
And their field goal kicker's benched, so his confidence is shook.
Is he not starting? Is Norton
there's a
competition.
It's up in the air right now, but
his
confidence is shook.
So I think Wisconsin wins this game. They're at home. They're running. Michigan's gonna be able to stop them offensively with passing, but I do think that enough when you have the ball for so long, which I think Wisconsin's gonna win the time possession because Michigan's going to be inept offensively from a passing perspective. That eventually they're going to wear us down and they win a game, 20-6, something like that. That's what I expect that game to be.
And I think it's the Saturday night game.
It's at noon.
Oh, it's at noon. Okay, that saves Michigan because we played homecoming one year. It was the first night game ever at Camp Randall, and night games there. Been to a lot of stadiums that rock. Michigan State can get down. Iowa is definitely right on top of you. They can get down. By far the hardest place to play when that stadium's rocking is very intimidating. So at least that. I think you got a young man going there. I think most of these guys. I've talked to some people that are close to the program. A lot of these guys don't. Some of the players don't believe that they don't believe they can beat Ohio State, and so they're already overlooking Wisconsin, which means to me think that they don't think they could. I think guys are just waiting for the season to be over. I think this could go up there and it could get ugly. And
good Lord, man, what kind of freaking drop is that? You hear this guy? This is insider information.
All right, next we have, and this is one of my. I'm gonna say I'll tell you what it is for me. It's Minnesota. Roll the boat. They're rolling the boat down to Northwestern. Who do you have? Number 23, Northwestern. Who do you have?
I like Northwestern here, man. Minnesota. I think what Mr. Rotoboat is finding out is that the Big Ten is a lot tougher than the MAC, and he's been humbled. And I think Northwestern. I like their running back. I like their quarterback. I like Jackson at running back. And their quarterback's actually been very good this year. Northwestern to continue and expect them to finish the season in the top 15, top 18, have a very good season and get a nice bowl game. So I got Northwestern.
Minnesota is a good team. They're not, like you said, I think he got humbled a little bit that some of his antics don't work here. that you're selling a dream to guys who need to believe, whereas when you're playing in the Big Ten, you've already established yourself as you're a good athlete. And so I think he may get tough. But Northwestern has been winning some games they shouldn't have won. They shouldn't have beat Michigan State. They're playing not great football. They're playing good enough to win. I think Minnesota goes down there and shocks them. So I'm picking Minnesota.
Wow.
Especially after they I know Nebraska's not any good, but they put a 50-burger on Nebraska last week. So I'm going down there with the things keep rolling, and they upset number 23 Northwestern. Next game we got is K-State, K-State at number 13 Oklahoma State.
All right, this one right here, this is going to be an interesting one because I've always said Kansas State is a team that is a veteran team who can run the ball, play good defense. And Oklahoma State, every once in a while, they come up with that.
Hiccup. What
the heck is that out there? Game. This is what they do in this year. Let down after the Oklahoma game where they let it snowball. But they won a nice game here recently, and I'm going to take Oklahoma State to actually win this game.
I was on the same thoughts as you. I just think if K-State has just a little more firepower on offense, because no matter how good defense you play, if you're playing a juggernaut offense like that, you got to be able to keep up a little bit. So I'm going to go with you as well. This game lost a lot of the luster that it had at the beginning, what it could have been at the beginning of the season, and it was your Heisman Trophy candidates, Sam Darnold versus what's his name? I'm drawing a blank at UCLA.
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen. This was supposed to be a national title or college football playoff playing game type deal where winner takes all, and this is ended up being you got unranked UCLA versus number 11 USC. Who you got?
I've got USC winning this game. I think that Darnold has actually played better as of late, and I like USC to get some momentum.
15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in the last 5 weeks.
And he's been playing really well, so I expect them to continue that against the UCLA team that's been a lot more disappointing than USC. And like I said, don't be surprised if Mora gets fired this year.
Yeah,
because I think that he's been very disappointing for all the fanfare he's gotten. He's not. I mean, we're not talking 8-3. We're talking
They were talking national championship.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a team that's still trying to get bowl eligible.
Right.
So yeah, watch out.
All right, there weren't a lot of great games, so I had to struggle to find some, but here we go. I'm just going to do it because it's hometown. We got Purdue at
Iowa.
Purdue needs to win this to try to get bowl eligible by beating IU. Iowa is riding. They're riding high 1 week, took their lumps last week. It's in Iowa. Iowa's a tough place to play. I am going, and with the quarterback Blau is out for the season. The kid, the Sindelar that's in there. I think he's the guy that should have been starting instead of playing music quarterbacks. I say they go up there and they get an upset win off of defense or a special teams return.
Last team that went to Iowa got their doors blown off. So I expect more of the same. Iowa big in this one.
All right. Now we got 2 upset alerts. One is Navy at number 8 Notre Dame. These are basically two running teams. They always struggle with Navy, no matter where Lou Holtz, except for Lou Holtz was there. But after Lou Holtz left, it's always been a start. It's always been a high-scoring game. I'm going to say Notre Dame wins, but it is going to be maybe a last possession type. It's going to be a scare. It's going to be a scare job by Navy.
I think Notre Dame wins easy. They're mad about last week. Brian Kelly has really worked them in practice. They'll be coming out focused against a team that wants to do a lot of the same things they want to do. I expect them to win big time.
All right, and this is another one of these, when you look at it, first I glossed over it. One of the most underrated teams in the country, I believe, are the Kentucky Wildcats. They're a very good team. Stoops, it's been a process, but Stoops has got them to winning games and having a lot of talent, which you don't expect Kentucky football to have. Kentucky will be at number 7, Georgia, who got their doors blown off. I say it's on upset alert because they could be looking forward to playing obviously, maybe even overlook Georgia Tech. They're looking at the SEC championship. I have Georgia winning by a touchdown close in the 4th quarter. Who you got?
I agree. Kentucky has been better than advertised, and I think they're on the right track as a program. They got some good players down there, but I think Georgia wakes back up and has a very convincing game to put themselves back in the conversation. Expect Georgia to win handily in this game and reestablish themselves as the second best team in the SEC.
All right, so obviously, like I said earlier, our jobs are easy. We just got to pick straight up, but we're bringing back one of the Dons, Mr. Jamal, who's hiding out in the bunker because everybody lost their rent money, their house note money because of the Ohio State-Michigan game, where he said, no way in the world does Ohio State beat Michigan State by that much, and it was a blowout. So, Mr. Jamal, are you back to give us your college games?
I am back. I kind of got nervous. The Eagles over, so I had to switch up where I was calling from. How was the position of power look? Best up to Ohio State. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming. But on the flip side, I'm sure we just got a tweet that said you ain't gonna see it coming either. Bro, he ain't even here. He might be.
He might be, man. If we get a
No
ransom,
call, no show.
hey, we don't. Just so if people know, just so they don't know, the Rocky Turk Show does not negotiate with terrorists. So if you're holding $90 for ransom, don't call us. All right, go ahead. You get Nathan.
Look, I got 6 games to play. I know we got the next set going with Texas and West Virginia. Texas, as everybody knows, who listens to the show, I am a long-form fan of the show. But I did say that West Virginia was the sleeper team in the Big 12 this year. They are only ranked 3.5 points at home against Texas. Texas still hasn't figured out their quarterback situation. They switched between Shane Buechele and their freshman quarterback. They have a runner. They don't have a running game. Chris Warren hasn't been what they thought he needed to be. They're relying on the freshman Antonio Carter to tote the rock. From a defensive standpoint, Texas still is very good. They got a lot of athletes everywhere, but their top corner, Hope Hill, is suspended for the rest of the year. They also have another corner injured. I expect Will Greer in that offense, Dana Holgerson in that offense at home to put up a big number. I think West Virginia definitely wins, and they lay the 3.5 points in that one. Next game, I consider Broncos. AB and Notre Dame. So that's an 18-point spread. Notre Dame was essentially out of the college football playoff. With them not having any ties to the to a conference, they're going to miss out on an extra game to kind of pull them back into the conversation, even if more chaos happens. I think with them knowing that they're not going to get a chance to play in the college football playoff unless the great situation happens, they may be let down about their experience last week. I don't think they're the type of team that's going to rebound and come out and play a better game. I think Navy is going to keep it a lot closer, especially with that offense is 18 points. So Notre Dame probably will win, but take Navy plus the 18 points on the road. Next game, Michigan at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is actually laying 7.5 points. And that's a big number. I mean, Michigan's defense is still good. I don't see it as being a blowout. I see it being a closer game. Can Wisconsin win a game? About 28-20, something like 21-13. Yes, they can. I'm going to say Wisconsin does win and cover the spread. I'm going to pick Wisconsin 21-13 at home, laying the 7.5 points. I just think that they're a better football team. They're playing with more confidence. They're playing with much more respect than Michigan. So even Wisconsin laying the 7.5 at home. UCLA at USC. USC is actually a 15-point favorite. I don't know if you guys knew this, but UCLA is actually winning on the road. The good thing is they're not playing. They're playing in their own stadium, so it may actually work out. This is a make it or break it game. Maybe Jim Moore can save the job. Certainly, he goes out and he puts up a big number and he keeps their hater rifle in USC. USC is also on the outside looking in the college football playoffs. And 16 is a big number, even though they are playing well. They're a much better football team. UCLA has no defense. I don't know if they're going to be good enough to cover a 16-point spread. I expect Jim Moore to have his team ready to play, try to get ball momentum, try to keep the game closer,
In Michigan too, they got several recruits up here, man. Don't knock us.
You know, Michigan got the center of Oak Park, okay, and I got no Kansas Tech there also. But they've been hitting the recruit trail very hard. Stu's done a great job of getting those guys to play maybe above their talent level. And I think Georgia's finished forward, man. If you can stop the run, which I think UK will be able to at least minimize their effectiveness running the ball, they should be able to keep that game closer than 21 points. Give me UK, a 7-3 UK team that's going to be fighting for getting close to 10 wins if they can win out. Give me that team plus 21 points between the heads of Georgia. So to recap, I got West Virginia laying the 3.5. I got Notre Dame. I got Navy plus 18. I got Wisconsin laying 7.5. I got UCLA plus 16. And I got UK plus 21.5. Most of these times they take the points if you want to win. Let's go. I'm 4-1 last week. Looking to be undefeated next week.
All right, we're gonna let you go, but you need to go find your partner because he may be swimming with the fishes, man. Because he no call, no show. He's hiding out, bro.
All right, so he is, and that's Jamal. That's Jamal for our gambling segment. And if you want to talk to Jamal any further about today's picks, he'll be at the McDonald's on 10 Mile and Telegraph for the rest of the evening, and you can talk about him about what you may like, what you may not like, and whatever money you lost last week as a result of the picks of Mr. Jamal or Dr. Dollar. All right. That's McDonald's. That's the McDonald's on Telegraph between 9 and 10 Mile. Right there, he'll be in Playland. So he'll be there all the rest of the night until what you say about 10:30, 11.
All right, talk to you, man. Mr. Turk, I am excited. We're always excited about high school. This is our high school segment. A little disappointed because, once again, we had some coaches that pulled out because they're getting ready for this Final Four weekend in the state. As you hear, my co-host is very excited. So we had a big week. We had some big games, and I'm going to start off with Division One. We had some big games last week, some games that we told you that just as coaches, as fans of football, we were very excited to go see and watch, and if you get out to them, go see them. So I'm going to start with probably the least known of everybody is West Ottawa versus Clarkston. We picked Clarkston. They went handle their business 29-22, and they advanced to the Final Four, which we thought. Even though we knew this was going to happen, we just got to pick the game. Catholic Central played Lakeland. We knew they were going to be too much for them. Catholic Central won 35-12.
Is Catholic Central not had the easiest road to the finals of any team in the playoffs? And I know people are like, oh, you brother, right? I want people to look at that lineup of teams they faced to get to this.
I mean, the only team that they played really was Canton. And
who brother Wishbone?
Yeah.
And I actually picked Canton because I couldn't just to spite Catholic Central, but it was an easy. I mean, it wasn't. Come on, man. They need to reseed this crap.
Yep. So they played Canton. They won 27-26.
And they're probably going to be in the championship, getting their doors blown off by.
Well, it's Clarkston versus Catholic Central.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that, but I want to give the other side, though. So we thought this was going to be an interesting game. I actually went with the Brother Rice alum and head coach Chippewa Valley, but Chippewa and Cass Tech went up. It was knotted up the whole game, and Cass Tech pulled out on top 32-26. Very good game. Lot of points scored. I thought that's kind of what it would be. Chippewa Valley is a good school, but Cass Tech, the athletes just won out, and better team advanced. And then the game of, if you want to say the game of the high school season, we had Eisenhower, who I picked to be the Division I state champion, our earlier predictions, versus West Bloomfield. We've had Coach on here and Bryce Beasley, and I
picked West Bloomfield.
And I don't know if you saw, I retweeted on Twitter that Terry Foster said, West Bloomfield's at the big boy table now. Let's see what they can do this week.
They're at the big boy table. And shout out to Mr. Beasley, Bowling Green Falcon committed quarterback. As I said, the reason they will win because nobody's playing better football in the state of Michigan right now than Beasley. And Bryce Beasley, the quarterback for West Bloomfield, if you watch that game, he put the team on his back. When they needed to drive the most, the ball was in his hands. He made every play, including the call I made, the read option quarterback up the middle for the winning touchdown game late. What a game that was, though. That was a hell of a game. Ike's got nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, they just ran into a hot team.
2 years in a row they got beat. They got beat last year on the Hail Mary to Peoples Jones, and
Yeah.
then this year they got that. But like I said, there's a good program over there. So your Final Four, we'll go to the first game. We have Catholic Central versus Clarkston. Who do you have?
I'm going to pick Clarkston because I don't want to see Catholic Central in the finals. And I know that sounds emotional. I just don't think they're good. I don't think that team is good enough to earn the right to be there. Clarkston's got to be there. Got to be the better team there. At some point.
I'm going to go the other way around. Well, I think Catholic Central would. It looks like what Catholic Central did was they reverted back to old, like they're running the ball. They turn. I would like to see them beat Clarkston. Okay, I think they're going to beat them, but I would like to because I want Catholic Central in the state championship game. Give you my reason why. Let's move to the next bracket. We have Cass Tech versus West Bloomfield. Who you got?
This one's a toss-up, man. Cass Tech won a very impressive. I thought it was more impressive that Cass Tech beat Chippewa Valley than West Bloomfield beat. Because I thought West Bloomfield was playing the best football at that moment to win that game. I just haven't seen enough out of Cass this year to think that they could win that game at Chippewa. Very good program, who's gotten hot lately, and we're playing good football. Very well coached team. Cass won a game. This game, there's going to be a lot of Division I prospects on the field. A lot of guys. Best cornerbacks in the state out on Cass, Gervin. And he's going to match up against one of 6 receivers at West Bloomfield. And the problem is that I think West Bloomfield, and this is going to be a year that's different than most, West Bloomfield has better athletes on offense than what Cass Tech has on defense. With that being said, Cass Tech, because of the style of defense they play, they're going to play a lot of man coverage on these guys. And West Bloomfield will win more matchups than they lose. Bryce Beasley will still be the best player on the field. Head-to-head quarterback, he's a far better quarterback than what Cass has on the field. I like West Bloomfield to make their first appearance at Ford Field for a chance to win a state championship.
I went back and forth with this because, you know me, I'm all type of look at everything. Well, the weather shifted. It was supposed to rain tomorrow night, and it was supposed to be a nice 40-degree day on Saturday. And what you're going to get tomorrow is you're going to get a 40-degree day tomorrow, and the rain has been pushed to Sunday. Depending on what type of rain and what time it comes, that can hurt West Bloomfield because they're very good at throwing the ball. But I'm with you. You got to go with athletes. I think the problem with the PSL schools, you know, Cass Tech won a couple titles, but they had a decent quarterback in Campbell, or yeah, that was his name. But right now, best player in the field is a quarterback. He's leading, I think, the best offense, one of the best offense, most talented in the state. So what I have is West Bloomfield winning. So in my book, I have West Bloomfield playing Catholic Central for the Division I state title, and I see West Bloomfield putting a beat down on CC like Cass, like they've been going and getting beat down
indoors
every
in
year.
the dome. I think Ryan is going to be celebrating like no other. I'm excited for him in that program because they've never experienced it. This is their best chance. I think the winner of that Cass West Bloomfield game has the edge because both those teams indoors on turf. I wouldn't want to face either one of them if I'm Ken or I'm CC. And the thing about it is that they've earned the right to be there. They've earned their stripes along the way. And let me just be a little unselfish here because I am a Bowling Green alum. I like to see a kid go there and be great. I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something. Kid sounds like a great kid, got a great head on his shoulders, great leader. I don't understand how that kid is going to Bowling Green. I don't because you know this is how Josh Jackson maybe ended up at Vodtech. And you look and you see a guy and you say, how did he get here? The guy's got all the measurables. He's got the size. He's already put in the commitment, the work ethic because he's lost the weight. And you can see he's got this arm strength out of this world. His accuracy is actually pretty good when he sets his feet. He's mobile, a lot shiftier than people think. He's a guy that's going to be ready to play. He's playing for a college coach who knows what it takes. And he's already got that leadership quality about him. I don't understand how the Big Ten is not pounding down the door to get Bryce Beasley in their program. I've been waiting now to say it because I had to watch more film and I wanted to say maybe I'm missing something. But the guy's got a cannon on his. It's not even like on his right wrist. It's a cannon attached to his shoulder right here that the dude probably can throw 80 yards.
And we saw him. He's going to gain 10, 15, 20 more pounds.
And he's lost the baby fat, meaning that he put in the commitment. You listen to the man talk. He's a leader. Somebody really needs to explain to me how I think he's the best player in the state right now. I watched a bunch of guys play. To me, Bryce Beasley is the best player in the state of Michigan. The best player in the state of Michigan is going to Bowling Green.
Well, you got 2.5 months. Things can change.
But it may be, I don't understand where's the excitement. You're a 6'5" quarterback with a cannon who can run. How's he not? If I'm Michigan, I'm seriously looking.
They got too many. But if I'm Michigan
no. I don't care what they got. I'm I've seen McCaffrey play.
I'm
I've
talking
seen
about the kid they got.
I've seen Beasley play. I've seen that guy play. I've seen him play too. I take Beasley over him. Maybe I'm missing something. When I watch the film and I watch the guy play, the guy looks like a winner. He's got all the physical tools in the right system. You're talking about a guy. Think Cardale Jones, better athlete and better brain. Think that physical ability in a spread offense with a one-back set running the read in college. Think how you stop him from getting 4 yards when he can throw the ball 80 yards. How do you stop him from getting 4 yards? That's all I'm saying. Doesn't make sense.
Well, at least we're in agreement with that. But like I said, I want CC to go because CC is this. They've been to the last, I believe, 5 state championships, and they've won 0. They've gotten destroyed in every one. So I just want to continue the tradition of them playing on the weak bracket, getting seated in the weak side of the bracket, and they get smashed. So moving over to Division II, which we're used to, we had a couple games. We had look right here. We had Traverse City Central and Forest Hills playing. I picked Traverse City Central. Forest Hills won, and so they are going to be on one side, entertaining on one side, one of the Final Four spots. And then there was Franklin and Flushing, and I don't know about you, but I just took a guess because I don't know either one of these teams or what's going on. I picked Flushing. They lost 31-29 to Franklin. So Forest Hills Central will be playing Franklin. On the other side of the bracket, which we've deemed is basically going to be the eventual state champ, we had King playing Lincoln. We both picked King. It was a blowout. It was 55-14. And then Oak Park and De La Salle, who we said was going to be the game, and you played Oak Park the week previously, and you picked them to win. It was a very, very tight game to the very end, and De La Salle pulled it out 14-7, actually giving up their first points of the playoffs to these guys. And that was it. So what we have is we have Forest Hills Central and Franklin playing. Who do you have?
I'm going to flip a coin here. I watched Forest Hill. We beat Traverse City Central this year, and Forest Hills barely beat them. I think Traverse City is a good team, not a great team. And I'm still going to go with Forest Hills because I don't know anything about Franklin or Flushing. So I'm going to go with Forest Hills here. I'm
going to go with Franklin for the fact that they upset Wall Lake Western. They've won their last 2 games by 2 points, 21-19 over Churchill and 31-29 over Flushing. So I'm going to just take the guys who upset, who they seeded this side of the bracket because they wanted Wall Lake to go to the finals. So I'm going to say Franklin continues their pretty amazing run for these seniors and probably remember the rest of their lives. I'm going to pick them to beat Forest Hills. Now, as we flip it over to, like I said, the eventual state champion, this is really a state title game right here. You have Detroit King, defending champ, 2-time defending champ, Detroit King, versus Catholic League's best this year, De La Salle Pirates.
This is definitely a contrast in styles here completely, but I think De La Salle physically can match up with King up front. I actually think De La Salle has a really good chance of winning this game because I think that physically that they're a lot better up front than what people think, both on offense and defense. I like King to not win this game, De La Salle to win it, and be the eventual state championship of Division II. State champion of Division II.
I agree with you. I think De La Salle, like I said, it's going to be an exciting game. It's Hazel Park on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Hopefully, like I said, the weather will play a little bit into it. I think King's going to fight because they want to be a 3-time champ. I think De La Salle, Gioni's won titles at Dakota, and he wants to get his. They had a rough year last year, and he flipped it around. I think these guys want to go out and try to get it. So I pick De La Salle to win the close one, and then also take the Ford Field, and obviously I'll root for them just because I want to see the Catholic League. I'm a former Catholic League product as well, so see them win a state title. So that's what we have, and then. Pretty much, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but, Division 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, those guys have theirs, but, we kind of stick with the guys that are on the show, in the show.
Yep.
I think Muskegon, they're still.
River Rouge and Muskegon are still alive.
Yeah.
So there's.
I picked Muskegon to win. I picked River Rouge to win. River Rouge has a tough game this weekend. I think once again they win this game, I think they win the state title again, and that's a nice little program that he's built over there for the varsity level. So that's what we got for high school this week. Now the plan is we're not going to be here next week because of Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So what we're trying to set up is have when we come back the following week, have the Division 1, 2, and possibly River Rouge. They would have these guys in here to kind of bring in their players and coaches and kind of talk about how their season went, what's going on. So trying to pull that together for you guys for a special high school edition. So other than that, just want to once again thank Beirut Palace for feeding us today. And remember, if you're making your dining out plans, go on the 4 Beirut Palace locations. And when you're in Royal Oak, stop at that Beirut Palace on 205 South Main Street and ask for Mo and tell them that you heard about the restaurant on the Rock and Turk Sports Show and get 10% off your meal. For more information, call them at 248-399-4600 or go to their website at www.beirutpalace.com. Do it today. And as always, I want to thank Blaze. They're getting ready to go on this trip. So with the Detroit Lions taking
Hashtag Lions Turk Chicago. Hashtag Rocket Turk Sports. We'll be in Chicago this weekend, giving you the behind-the-scenes look in the NFC Norris division matchup.
So again, we thank them for sponsoring and bringing you the show today.
Go right into the Junior Mafia after.
He's gonna do, yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Really?
I mean, I do that anyway. I put a bowl
Yeah,
on
I
top,
put
plate or
paper
something.
towel or something.
I
I guess that's something you keep in the microwave. But
How you put a magnet inside of the mic?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. First off, and second off, if it gets splashed on, you're gonna clean it anyway. So you're gonna keep it in there.
Right.
But it's just supposed to keep, if you've been on some people's house, you open up their microwave, that shit is gross. It's something, like shit crawling on the walls and shit. You probably say it's true, because that's probably your microwave.
Hell no, I'm a clean freak.
Me too.
I definitely gotta show you this up.
Well, you might have to worry about it, because this is the last week.
You guys aren't gonna do Friday? I thought you guys were gonna do it
I
Friday.
can't, I got, something came up, and he's not gonna be here either, and Jamal can't be here.
Hell no.
I'll get you
We got 10 seconds.
everything tomorrow, you too. And this was Blaze's last week. I'm trying to work on, I got another guy.
Hey, thank you for tuning in with us this week. The Rock and Turk Sports Show. Man, we are coming up on episode 30. That was episode number 39. Definitely 29. Episode number 29. Big games tonight. Watch the Titans and the Steelers. We got the Celtics and the Warriors. Tune in. Not next week. We're on a holiday break next week. The week after, we'll be back and we'll be debuting the show with the hopeful champions of Division 1, 2, and 3 high school football MHSAA championships are this coming a week from tomorrow starting. So make sure you support your high school local teams. We'll be talking some more about the NBA. Can the Pistons sustain what they're doing right now, their success? They've got 9 of the next 11 games on the road. Where do they go from here? NFL, the Lions got a big game in NFC North. They'll be coming into, when we come back, the Lions will have played 2 more games in the NFC, including a game against the Vikings, which could say a lot about their plans for the NFC North down the stretch and if they have a chance in the playoffs. Also, college football. We'll be talking championship preview of the divisions and who's got the inside track on the college championship Final Four. All that and more. Make sure you tune in. Jam-packed show. Show number 30 is going to be a great one. Rocco, what you got?
Nothing, man. Once again, thank Beirut Palace. These shawarmas were great. The hummus was great. The food is always great. I'm telling y'all, you need to get down there on if you're in Royal Oak, it's lunch hour, whatever you're doing, go in there and get 10% off your meal. You will not be disappointed.
Beirut.
And other than that, man, I'm just excited, ready for the holidays. Gonna watch a lot of football these next 2 weeks and see when you get back. We bet not lose because you're going down here with these boys. Y'all better not. You better bring us that W. Getting these W's.
This number, yeah. I'm gonna give them the premium package pregame speech.
That's J Boo.
I'm gonna give them that. Hey, it's gonna work. Lions by 17. You heard it here first. Let's go.
Peace. Now I watched that like 2 or 3 times. I know specifically, like I said, I was watching the dudes in the background, and my one man was like, if he was doing that, he was
Yeah.
bro, what is he talking about?
That was the worst. Here, let's make this last one.
Jay.
I'm good. I already counted
Yeah,
that.
man. I can't do it. I gotta live.
You said you got a lot.
I gotta live.
But it's about the hell of thing. You need chicken and pickles, dog. Get a little garlic for your circulation.
Don't forget your phone.
I'm going to. I'm just gonna set this down.
I might get out of here. There we go.
Hey, I gotta talk to you. I got this company I'm working for. It's a vacation company.
Yeah.
No, this shit is off the chain. That's something I'm getting. I'll run it through you. I get your deal on. I get you $4,000 off of it.
What?
Yeah, that's all. No, it's a thing. It's a thing where you go on vacation anywhere in the world. It's $1,000 location. The resorts that they actually own.
Oh man, the time flare?
No, it's not a timeshare. You go, I'll expect you $189 for a week. Everything take care of it. Then you can get your airline tickets and rental cars, $14 a day.